So today, my students, I wanted to talk today about Tom King's Batman Catwoman comic. The first issue came out of this little mini series a few days ago. I didn't get to it right on the day it came out, but I decided, I need to talk about this. And, this is a comic that was hyped up for about a year, I think. And the hype part about this comic was that the Phantasm was supposed to come back. Slash Andrea, I believe was her name. And, it was supposed to be amazing. So I went into this book not with the highest expectations, because before I read the Tom King run of Batman, I was pretty excited for this book. But after I read Tom King's run on Batman, I got so scared for this book. Because anyone that's read Tom King Batman knows he completely ruined the Batman character. He made him into complete, pansy, basically. And it's just embarrassing when he gets the Batman character. Thank God for James Tynion for doing a good job bringing Batman back to being, great again. So when I went into this, I was like, maybe I'll give Tom King the benefit of doubt that it won't be as horrible as this Batman run, but man, was I wrong. Yes, it's just as bad as the Batman run that he did. And there was really not a lot to talk about in this first issue. It's mainly just flashbacks. But at the same time, flash forward, I guess you could say, or I'm not even sure you could say it's a flash forward. The story takes place in the flash forward. It's just all over the place, this entire comic. And it has no clear narrative structure throughout the entire read. You have this very awkward moment between Batman and Catwoman where Batman and Catwoman are making out. And, Tom King does that cringy lines whenever is Batman and Catwoman say bat and cat. It's just very, un-Batman-like. Batman does not talk like that. And of course, it's not a Tom King issue, comic issue, Batman issue, I guess you could say, if he doesn't have some sort of deep message, with the whole Silent Night or something like that, in the beginning of the book, at the end of the book, trying to be a metaphor for Andrea's, dead son. And it's just so cringy, guys. It's like Tom King writes in this way that he thinks he's so deep, but it's so bad. It's like I have no idea how Tom King thinks that this writing's good. I'm surprised DC still gives him a job, to be honest. I can understand if DC wanted to give Tom King some low-name characters to kind of work his way up, but why are you having him write this Batman comic? If anything, if not James Tynion, you could have asked Scott Snyder to write this type of story arc with Andrea coming back as the Phantasm. I'm not going to say that the plot itself doesn't have potential. It does. You can see it in there when you're reading this comic. But it's so bad. The dialogue, everyone's out of character. Andrea's reasoning, being that the Joker kills her son, is just so cringy. I can't explain it. It's like you can tell that Tom King just expects us to enjoy the writing because he's playing on nostalgia by bringing a ton of characters back from the Phantasm movie and locations from the Phantasm movie. But he doesn't understand the reason why that movie was great is because of the character development and how the characters acted and they grew from their experiences. And seeing Andrea go down this path and, having the Joker be the one to kill her kid seems so lame and contrived. And it's just trying to get us to care about it, and it just makes me not care about it. It could have been cool if it was a different Batman villain, like let's say the Penguin had kidnapped her son or something like that for political gain or something. They could have done so much with Andrea's character in the beginning. Have her be someone that's important in Gotham City, and have someone like the Penguin or the Riddler, because the Riddler has been pretty good in the Tynion run. He really has brought him back. You could have used that. Could have done something other than the Joker being the one that's clearly connected to her from the Phantasm movie. This isn't a progression. Again, I don't know what it is with Tom King, but he likes to regress characters instead of progress them. And that's a huge flaw from a writing standpoint, because you don't go into a sequel, which this kind of is, to the Phantasm movie, with the intention to regress the character. You should be progressing on stuff that happened in the previous story, aka Bruce and Andrea's split. and how they have different ideologies. That would have been amazing to dive into in this issue, on how she actually is still a vigilante. Or you could have had her quit but never give up on her ideals. Instead, this makes it seem like she was completely fine until the Joker killed her son. And that's super lame, because she had already gone down a dark path in the first movie. So having the sequel have her go bad down dark path seems lame. And we never got to see her make the decision to turn good and go, cold turkey on the Phantasm. So why do we care? Why do we care that she's going back to it? It's completely lame. There's not a lot to talk about. I'm not going to go through this entire issue, because it's just more of Tom King trying to have completely deeper than what the story actually is. Because at the end of the day, the story has bad dialogue. It has all the characters out of character. And he tries to make these deep messages with these little Christmas carols. And it's just, everyone can see what he's doing. It's lame. If the writer doesn't do that, he doesn't have to slap you in the head and say, this is good writing. He doesn't need to do that. He just makes it happen. Overall, I do not recommend Batman Catwoman issue 1. Heck no. I'm sorry I even read it. Will I read issue 2? Probably. Because I want to see this through to the end. But I really don't recommend checking it out, to be honest. It's very disappointing. If you want to read Batman, go read James Tynion's run. He's brought Batman back to being great. Joker was fantastic. I'm waiting till this Ghost Hunter or Ghost Killer stuff is done so I can review the entire story arc as a volume on the channel. I believe it's about to end in the next maybe month or so. So I am going to have that video out talking about the next story arc, the Ghost Hunter, I believe is his name. That's going on right now in the comments. And I'm pretty sure there's amazing stuff happening right now. I just am waiting for the art to wrap up so I can review the volume as a whole. But yeah, James Tynion, the Dark Designs, and Joker, their Dark Designs and Joker were both fantastic story arcs. And he's just been on a roll and has shown us that Batman can be great again. But yeah, overall, Tom King disappoints me. Don't know why he's working on Batman. Don't know why he even has a job at DC. He's not a good comic book writer. He needs to go back and start studying how to write, because it's just sad what he's done to these characters. And now he's ruining the Phantasm. Fan favorite character. I was so hyped last year when this got announced. And after reading Tom King's run, I already knew this is what was going to happen. And I'm sad that I had such hope before I knew about Tom King. But the moment you read his stuff, you realize that there's no hope for Batman when he's in the hands of Tom King. That's going to be all, guys. If you're a fan of the channel, or if you're new to the channel, I do review trade paperback / comic volumes on this channel, which covers story arcs or just parts of stories in general. Yeah, and I have a few videos out already. I have stuff covering Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and I'm going to be covering Image as well, Image Comics too. So if you're into any of that, be sure to subscribe and be sure to share that video around so we can grow the channel as fast as possible. So next time, guys, God bless you. And remember, guys, as always, you're ready to watch the next video to learn. See you guys later.